Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to introduce myself. My name is Clive Staples Lewis, though I shall not blame you if you prefer Jack, as my friends always did. I was born in Belfast in the year 1898, and for as long as I can remember, I have loved two things deeply: stories and the search for truth. My childhood was a mixture of enchantment and sorrow. Enchantment because I lived among books, myths and imaginary worlds. Sorrow because I lost my mother at the age of 10. Later, in the Great War, I encountered suffering not in theory, but in the mud and terror of the trenches, and it left a permanent mark on my soul. I began life as a skeptic, not out of rebellion, but from what I then considered clear reasoning. God, I believed, was a fairy tale for those afraid of the dark. But the truth, as it tends to do, pressed in on me slowly and inexorably, not through thunderclaps or visions, but through conversation, reading and reason itself. One of the keys to my conversion came through a friend of mine at Oxford, John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, known to many of you perhaps as the author of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Those books are rich with imagination, but also with meaning, though Tolkien himself would hardly trumpet that aloud. Through him and others, I came to see that the great myths of humanity are not mere lies breathed through silver, but shadows and echoes of a greater story. And so, reluctantly, even resisting, I came to believe in Christianity. Not as someone who had found all the answers, but as someone who had begun to see that in the light of Christ, not only are answers possible, but all else becomes visible. My writings, books like Mere Christianity and The Problem of Pain, have been my humble attempts to explain this faith in a way that speaks to both the mind and the heart. And then, of course, there is Narnia, a world that came to me not through planning, but through images. A lamppost in a snowy forest, a fawn with parcels, and above all a lion. In The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, readers meet the White Witch who casts her icy tyranny over Narnia, making it always winter but never Christmas. But they also meet Aslan, not a tame lion, but a good one. In him, many have seen a reflection of the deeper magic, the sacrificial love of Christ at the heart of all things. I do not pretend to be a prophet, and still less a saint. I am merely a fellow traveller, often stumbling, sometimes writing, always seeking the true country beyond the sea.